everyone, and welcome to another episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of the Disney Travel Podcast with the latest Disney travel news. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Bello-Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Bello-Braddock. And today we will be talking about the newest entertainment at Magic Kingdom Park and some new additions to Disney Genie Plus service.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff happening at Walt Disney World, which is most of our stories this week.
Great, just in time for our trip.
Just in time for the trip. And let's kick it off with what everyone's been talking about, the newest entertainment coming to Magic Kingdom Park.
Yes, I'm very excited about
There are
this.
some old favorites and some new things that will be filling the streets and the castle stage just in time for the 50th anniversary.
Yes, Mickey's Magical Friendship Faire is a newly enhanced, and it features characters from Frozen, The Princess and the Frog, and more as they join Mickey and all his friends in a musical show on the Cinderella Castle Forecourt Stage.
Yeah, so they've bumped the old... Was it always called Magical Friendship Faire? I think it was.
I don't know.
I think before COVID they updated it. So now they've bumped it up, but they've amped it up a little bit, just like we talked about last week with the Main Street Electrical Parade. They've bumped that up as well at Disneyland. So they're doing the same thing with Mickey's Magical Friendship Faire on the castle stage.
Have I watched this?
No, you have not.
I was going to say.
And of course, the opening and finale of the show will feature a new song and what else?
Some sparkling iridescent fashions designed exclusively for 50th.
Yes, we have to get iridescent into everything for the 50th.
Iridescent is great. I don't understand the hate.
And as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, now finally the Festival of Fantasy Parade is back with not one, but 2 shows daily. And I think this is actually a good thing. I'm hoping that it won't be as crowded on Long Main Street, but maybe that's just hopeful. We'll see next week when we're there. I know some people have been watching the show as it kicked off just this week or last week when you're listening to this show, depending on where you're listening. We're recording this a bit early because we are heading down to Walt Disney World. So we had to get this one ready to be released while we are on site live. Yes. And the show features, of course, Maleficent's Dragon, which is everyone's classic favorite.
It's the staple.
But really, it has just about every major Disney character in it. So I really like the Festival of Fantasy Parade. And there's something new sharing the parade route.
Yes, the Adventure Friends Cavalcade.
They love their cavalcades.
Yes, and it has nearly 30 of Pixar and Disney characters, including Moana, Nick and Judy from Zootopia, and Miguel from Coco.
So it pretty much sounds like between these 2 parades and cavalcades,
Disney will have every single one of their characters showcased.
You're going to get a shot to get great photos or wave at every character you love. So Magic Kingdom continues to roar back to life, and let's hope it keeps going in that direction. And on that note, we'll be using Disney Genie Plus next week.
Yes, at my 2 favorite parks, there are new additions.
New additions. So what do we have? What's coming to Disney Genie Plus?
Yes, at Magic Kingdom, you can add the Festival of Fantasy Parade, and at Hollywood Studios, you can see Disney stars at Red Carpet Dreams.
So it sounds like they'll have VIP showing for the Festival of Fantasy Parade. I'm assuming that's what that is, because there's not a ton of detail. And I guess it would be the same for the Red Carpet Dreams over Disney's Hollywood Studios.
And if you're an Instagram photographer, you might want to get on that.
Yeah, you might want to get on that. So something else to go for if your top favorites are gone when you're booking your Lightning Lane or paid experiences. Yeah. And now jumping over to Epcot.
Connections Cafe and Eatery opens this spring.
Yes, this is very close to being open. And they've installed one of the 5 marquees. There's no official date announced yet for when the restaurant will open. But at some point this spring is what Disney said it will be opening.
Yeah, it's almost spring. I can't believe that.
I know. It is almost spring. This is in the what is now called the World Celebration neighborhood of Epcot.
Yes, and it was formerly called...
Do you know what Connections Cafe is taking over from? I'm putting you on the spot. You probably don't.
I know, but they don't know, so you need to explain it to them.
Electric Umbrella used to be the quick service dining in that area. So there is a restaurant and cafe. It's sort of the quick service. And you know the main section of Epcot where you walk straight down to World Showcase?
Yeah.
That's where this is. So it's the new Connections Cafe and Eatery.
We'll check it out.
And the name Connections was important to Disney because it was inspired by the core idea of Epcot of connecting. So everything now has World in front of it. Nice. We always had World Showcase. Now we have, World everything. So World Celebration is this one.
Next, you'll be adding a W to Epcot.
So they've, Wepcot. So they've sort of giving it a more cohesive theme, which I guess is good. It's nice. Also in this area is that Walt Disney, the new statue, going to be the new hot photo area, sort of the partners version of that. We talked about that in past episode as well. So lots of good stuff coming at Epcot. This eatery will be coming online again. That park has seen the most construction and sort of distractions. So
hopefully, I wonder if this is going to be like the last big thing that they make at Epcot, like, because they've been doing a lot of recent renovations.
And then we're going to have Guardians of the Galaxy opens at Epcot this summer. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it's open. We are now officially going in August. We may go earlier, but I'm really hoping since we're going in August.
Yeah.
If they said summer, we've got a very good chance that that's going to be opening.
I hope that, because I feel like Epcot has more renovations going on than most other parks, and I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like Epcot has a lot of renovations right now, so I wonder what's going to be like the last big thing that they renovate before they move on, or if Epcot will just indefinitely be covered.
No, they will sort of stop it, but there are a couple of things on pause. Bob Chapek sort of talked about them, one of them being the redo of Spaceship Earth.
Okay.
So they paused it. Remember, there was a lot of talk whether Chris Pratt was going to be the new narrating voice.
Yeah.
And so then COVID hit, and that's one of the things that they stopped. So they've obviously continued with the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind coaster. That's coming along.
Jeez, they just love Chris Pratt at this park.
Yeah, at Disney everywhere.
Yeah.
So Epcot, when all the barriers come down, the park will be drastically transformed. There's some really cool stuff, multi-level sort of area, out like indoor, outdoor.
But it's kind of making me rethink my park, like
Well,
my
a lot
park
of people,
rankings.
a lot of
honestly.
people are saying that. Will Epcot now be attractive? Because a lot of people didn't like it. I always liked it, more so for World Showcase.
The best it can hope for is a third in my books, but it might be edging out Animal Kingdom. We'll
Ratatouille, our family doesn't really care about if it's based on the, just our experiences.
I dislike the Ratatouille ride.
Yeah, but I think having a coaster there will really make a big difference.
Yeah.
So of all these things that are new, what's your favorite?
I would probably say, the Guardians coaster. I think it's really important to me. Ratatouille, it could be good. The reason I didn't like it in France was because I could tell it was fake. Like a lot of the rides, like you can immerse yourself in them, but with this one, I could tell that it wasn't me moving, it was the screen. And I did not like that.
We will have to judge it for ourselves. We will have to go on it next week to judge it. I've seen all the reports, but since we have done the Disneyland Paris version recently, I do want to do a direct comparison.
Yeah, because I just didn't like being 10 and being like, no, I don't. This is fake. At 10, like I thought there should have been a higher production value. So we'll see if this one ups its standards.
Now, our final story for today is important if you are planning on traveling to Hawaii. Yes. Now, we're going to go to Aulani this summer, and we did not because Hawaii, sort of like Europe, is
They're very finicky with their restrictions.
It's a little, traveling from Canada. It's easier from the U.S., but we'll tell you why in a minute. But we put it off because their rules keep changing. But there is some good news if you are American and you are traveling to Hawaii.
Hawaii's Travel Safe program will end on March 26th.
Yes, so what this means is passengers arriving from within the U.S. will no longer have to show proof of COVID vaccination or have a pre-travel negative test upon arrival to enter Hawaii and in order to avoid quarantine. So if you're American, if you've come from somewhere else, you've already done your test. But if let's say you flew from Canada or England or wherever, and you're in the U.S., well, if you're flying from there to Hawaii, you're good because they know you've already done one, even if you've been there for a month. But we know these rules are imperfect. So remember, if you are an international passenger, you will still have to follow the travel requirements put in place by the federal government.
Yes, but
CDC.
If you are in the States, then Hawaii just basically becomes another state. So that's fun if you want to travel there.
So the moral of the story and the rule is always, before you travel, read the rules because they do change frequently and you may miss some.
Yeah, and some things haven't changed. Like the state of Hawaii still has a mask mandate for all indoor locations.
Yeah, and Honolulu's Safe Access Oahu program has also ended, and that means visitors will no longer have to provide proof of full vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test to dine.
Oh, geez, these were like really tight restrictions.
Hawaii had some tighter restrictions. It is an island, and I guess
were their cases lower?
They got lower with these restrictions. So that's why we decided not to do an Aulani and Hawaii trip this summer. So hopefully, it will sort of mellow out by next summer, everyone. Fingers crossed. Disney Aulani Resort in particular, face coverings are required for guests age 2 and up and must be worn in all indoor locations, including the spa, etc. And when actively eating or drinking.
Yeah.
So you can't sit there and sort of sip a Coke for 3 hours.
Yeah, this is not a flight, people.
They're not going to let you get away with it.
People crack down on you. It is not an airplane.
However,
right?
outdoors they are optional.
Yeah, I think I would travel to Aulani, I think, with these newer restrictions. It's just I'm worried that they're going to change again.
Yeah, it's not the restrictions as much as if they come up with something, you book everybody's gone through this, booking, canceling, flight credits, all this sort of stuff.
That's the past 2 years for you.
And Hawaii flights are expensive, so I just don't want to go through that until it's almost, perfectly safe. So maybe summer 2023 will be the lucky one. Fingers crossed, everyone.
I think that's a fair assessment for me.
All right, that is the rapid fire news this week. We will see you again next time with our Walt Disney World latest news report and trip report. If anything unique happens, we'll throw that in.
Yeah, like the last trip was a bit eventful.
Yep, so definitely. Hopefully not as eventful this time.
Yes.
Just good old magical fun. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.